GoingGear.com recognizes me as an expert in the Benchmade 940 series of pocket knives. Okay, no they don't. I made that up. But they did send me an exclusive 940 made for them by the real 940 experts, Benchmade, called the 940 1701, which is basically a handle and steel variant of the perfect everyday carry knife. But you knew I was going to do this review because you saw a preview of it on my Instagram, where you also follow me. Okay, most people don't follow me there. I've got like 500 subscribers. But let's do the dimensions in case you don't believe me. The dimensions are almost exactly the same as the 941 that I already own. Like the overall length and weight. Gotta love that weight, right? The blade size and the cutting edge. The handle and the grip area. The spine thickness and the handle thickness. And the tallness of it closed. And thanks one more time to Joe Bob for the suggestion to do this additional measurement. The 940 1701, like the 941 or the 940 or one of the other variants of the 940 series Osborne knives, has a reverse tanto blade style with a nice long cutting edge and a flat grind, which a lot of Benchmade folders have. The flat grind, I mean. The 940 comes in several steel styles. My 941 is an S90V, but the Going Gear 940 1701 uses CPM-20CV, which is a US-made equivalent to Bohler M390, which is made in Austria. So this knife is made in the USA. Also, additionally, the 20CV blade of this one is a little less dark in color than the S90V of the 941. It's like too many numbers, right? Both have a light stone-washed finish, though. The cool thing about the 940 blade is it's one of the better weight to cutting edge ratios. It carries in the pocket like a much smaller knife, but it ain't one. Deployment is handled by thumb studs, or alternatively the axis lock if you're an advanced knife bro. Out of the box it's just a tad stiff, but after a few days of flipping and using it, it breaks into the nice axis lock you're familiar with. The red thumb studs set this 940 apart from the others, and a light flick easily deploys the blade. You can do the axis lock deployment by holding the lock back and flipping open, flipping closed, flipping open, flipping closed. The 940 is probably my second favorite deploying knife after the Paramilitary 2. On either side of the pivot there are phosphor bronze washers, so you nylon washer haters can sleep easy tonight. Lockup is nice and strong, and it seems solid even with hard wax on the spine, like this. Blade retention when closed is fine, and the axis lock causes the blade to snap into place. But you can fling the blade downward while it's closed pretty hard and get it to open. This is common on my Benchmade axis locks. The handle is an open back design, held together with two red standoffs on the back. Remember, they're blue on the back of the 941, because plain steel ones are for poor people, which is a lot of people after they buy a $250 pocket knife. The handle is the same basic shape as my 941 with a few key differences. First, the materials. The 941 is carbon fiber with partial liners. The Going Gear 940 1701 is a G10 handled / C-tek combo handle material. It's a tad heavier than the 941, but it's really not too noticeable even when you hold one in each hand. It wouldn't be noticeable if you just had one or the other, though. The C-tek is the red and silver honeycomb material in the center of the G10. It's translucent and has an interesting effect when the light hits it just right. The rest of the handle is made from semi-polished G10. Not quite as slick as fully polished G10, but it has a similar feel and smoothness to the carbon fibered 941. And if you're holding both in your hands and have your eyes closed, you might find it hard to tell the difference. The liner on the 941 is silver. The one on the 940 1701 is murdered out. There are some grooves on the 941 that aren't there on the 940 1701. These ones here on the side are the ones I am talking about. And then the jimping. there's some jimping on the back of the 940-1701. You probably won't even notice it unless your knife is held upside down and your thumb is resting on the knife in a tactical position. Okay, I said tactical once so you can do a shot. But the handle is a nice size and it fits all of my fingers without crowding. But you saw that in my 940 review, didn't you? The clip. The clip on both are functionally the same. Neither are deep. The 941 has a more traditional shape and the 1701 has a slightly different, almost familiar shape. It has a split in the middle and a tapered point, sort of like a, it's called a mushroom. The finish on the 1701 is more like a fine matte powder coat and the other one's a little glossier. I'm talking about the clips, of course, on the 941. Both are about the same springiness. The clips are positionable to the right or left side in a tip-up configuration only. Okay, let's break down a box while I sum it up. The Going Gear 940-1701 is a nice knife, and for most purposes it's pretty similar to the popular 941. It should come down to aesthetics, or if you think red is the color of adultery, or if you prefer the 20CV steel versus the S90V steel. I have yet to sharpen either knife, but word on the street is S90V on the 941 is a bit harder to sharpen and might hold an edge even a tad longer. So you see how those two are correlated? Both are very nice looking knives, but have similar premium materials and price points. And if you've never owned a 940 series knife, it's time to see what all the hype is about. It's my co-favorite knife, and I've already mentioned the other one I like. And if you can't decide on which of the two 940s you want, you can buy both at goinggear.com, who provided this for review. If you like this video, subscribe to my channel, comment, give it a thumbs up, and maybe in a year when I've finally had to sharpen both, ask me how I like them a bit better. Also check out some of my other videos that I've done, like my review of the 941. Thanks for watching.